Supreme Rice. Since the 1930s, supporting Louisiana farmers and communities throughout Louisiana. To find out more, go to supremerice.com.
Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN.
For some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Mike Anderson Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson. Welcome to the Tuesday edition Live at Lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Henniger, Jimmy Ott, Max Gotro, Jordan Kinch is back in the studio. Andy Isco with us from Las Vegas on Tuesdays. Greg Bowser talk a little LSU football with us. And we do first class, second class, and no class commercials. Never mind. Jimmy, good morning. How are you?
Good, man. Great football game last night.
A lot of fun to watch.
Of course, it wasn't a perfectly played by any stretch, but damn it, it was. Kansas City's playing with a little urgency right now, and but interesting calls, pick six, proposed play. Number one pick can't miss has been, I don't know, a choppy beginning to his career, and he made some boneheaded decisions at times and makes plays, and then he had some great baseball as well. These Brewers are hitting, bro. They're
hitting, but my favorite play of the night was the Dodgers running the wheel play. You just don't see it very much in baseball anymore. Because hardly anybody bunts anymore. The Phillies have only bunted 16 times all season. For the Dodgers to put that play on from Muncy to feel the ball, turn, throw, an accurate throw to Betts, who gets there on time, perfect position, make the catch and the tag, was a beautiful play. Now, you can, whether the Phillies should have been bunting there or not with a runner at second base and nobody out, I'll listen to that argument. But the Dodgers' execution of that play, you don't see the wheel play much anymore.
No, and it's something that Freeman talked about, that they practice. They practice a lot of things in spring training that they really don't use, and they used it last night. The one factor that you have to factor into it might be Philly's slowest base runner. Okay.
And left on left.
Do you not pinch run there? I mean, he is the tie and run in the damn playoffs in a short series.
And they're saying they're playing for the tie at home, which is not an uncommon strategy.
No, I don't have a problem with the tie and run advancing him there, but
should you pinch run for him? That's another. Should you be bunting there to start with? And the Dodgers to put the wheel play on without the force, I thought it's gutsy, because look, that's not exactly a play that they practice every day, they haven't seen very well. So Muncy's got to catch it, turn, throw. Right. Betts got to be there, boom, make the tag, and they did it. It was beautiful to watch.
Betts is, to me, Betts is a reminder of Betts is special.
As he's the one that suggested they put the play on, too.
Betts is special. Betts getting over there, and he's agile, handle a hot throw, handling. But this is a Gold Glove outfielder who's playing shortstop.
First full year at shortstop.
Playing, I mean, great, and could make that play. I mean, it's just he's more than just, the stick, because once guys establish, at the plate, they give up on everything else. And he's a tools guy, man.
He's the guy you pick first when it comes time to pick players.
Average, for power, the glove. I mean, the wheel, speed. I mean, he's got arm. He's playing, the shortstop.
Yeah.
I mean, what a player, man. What a player. And Snell is on. That's why I liked him yesterday. He's on fire right now.
Yeah, love baseball. Love baseball playoffs. So the football game, the Chiefs get out to 2-touchdown lead, and the Jaguars run down at the goal line. A play that we saw Drew Brees make a bunch of times, which is the leap over the pile. Lawrence comes up short. So whenever I see a play like that, Jimmy, I just wonder if you're going to be chasing those points the whole game. Block punts, kickoff returns, just really bizarre plays. And I don't know if this qualifies as that, but I thought to myself at the time, like, the Jaguars are going to be chasing this touchdown all night. And they're going to come up a touchdown or less short. And they didn't, to their credit. But that's what I was thinking at the time, because you have another play.
They were going to be chasing the whole night until the pick six. Right. Pick six.
So you get 2 turnovers inside the 1 yard line in this game. So they kind of now the Jaguars get points out of theirs.
Oh, well, Kansas City took the ball and went 99 yards for a touchdown.
Correct. They went the whole whole drive.
The next time Jacksonville got the ball was a 14-point swing. Then after the pick six, the next time Kansas City got the ball was And to me, it was more about defensive players making plays, as opposed to bad call, bad decision, all of this. I mean, Dean on the Jacksonville pick six, he baited him. He faked. He faked he was coming. He buzzed against Mahomes. Yeah. How often? I mean, that's pretty gutsy. And this is a guy that was Defensive Player of the Week last week, I believe, in the AFC or NFL. I mean, but he is. That's a hell of a play. And on the other side, I mean, the ball's about to be. But how many times have we seen Nick Bolton make a play like this? There's a big 4th down. He makes a play in one of these, because they're in these shootouts all the time. Yeah. And we know about Jones and how great he is. And, boy, he was coming on that last drive. They just made a throw at the end. But Bolton reminds me, it's happening too many times, whether it's Palomalu, Ray, the Baltimore Hall of Fame middle linebacker. Ray Lewis. Jesus. His age is a terrible thing. Ray Lewis, how many times have we seen him kind of like anticipate stuff, jump over or stuff the guy? Honey Badger. I mean, like these plays at these critical. I mentioned Palomalu. Yeah. No, good. I mean, we're on the same page. I mean, how many times in critical when Bolton's he's got a history of this, man, and it was about him. He was anticipating that he could be doing this, a 4th down, because that's when you do it.
Right.
Because once it crosses, then you fumble. Yeah. You can't do it at the 10, 20-yard line, but you could do it at the goal line, and he's there to knock it out. I mean, how close was that?
Less than an inch.
I mean,
less than an inch. I did appreciate Devin Lloyd going 99 yards for a touchdown, covering up the ball in the last few yards because the receiver's coming. I mean, we saw this on Sunday. Look, Jimmy, he's not a primary ball carrier, but
yes,
at the 3-yard line, he picks that ball up to make sure that nobody can get. God bless.
Because what is the trailing receiver who's really, really fast? What is he doing? Because
desperation.
He has no other option at that point. And so he hit it, and he actually made contact with it. It's protected. Touchdown. He doesn't get ridiculed. He scores a touchdown. It's the way it should be.
Right. And it wasn't without what added to the drama of the game is when Jacksonville takes the lead, okay, and they get the ball back. Okay, so they got the ball and they get the lead, and it's the 4th quarter. And what does Lawrence do? He throws an interception. He gives the ball right there to Jacksonville.
Or no interference?
Well, I thought it was interference.
The rules experts say clearly interference.
Clearly interference.
And of course, Ryan Clark, a former defensive back, says, "Oh no, this is."
He knocked him to the ground. I don't know how that can be incidental. I thought it was clearly pass interference, and Lawrence has a case here. But he doesn't get that call, and they're not.
What about on Kansas City's first touchdown? That's not textbook pick play.
It was. It was.
How can you throw the flag and then Mahomes goes in politics and convinces them otherwise? I mean, what?
It was a back and they had a lot of stuff in this game, and early on, I even texted you. What is Lawrence into this game mentally? It feels like he's in a daze. He throws the ball. I'm talking about almost 2 full yards past the line of scrimmage. He lets the play clock run out twice. I was wondering, it's like, man, it almost looked like a quarterback that had come back out of concussion protocol. He just didn't seem to be into the game mentally.
I can listen to a conversation of his development being derailed or affected because it's a revolving door of who's his coach / quarterback, offensive coordinator. Okay, I cannot listen to such pitiful situational awareness as not knowing where the line of scrimmage is. And remember, and your whole body's got to be past it.
Yeah, they give you leeway.
They really do.
I mean,
and then I don't care when he's playing in Georgia. And he started 3 or 4 years there. He started 3 years at Clemson. How many playoff games he played? And then there's been a play clock in every level that he's played.
Right.
That is in. And he did it again. That was critical because it forced him to. Well, I'm talking about the game-winning drive.
Yeah.
He did it where they had. But then again, and he's added some weight. He's definitely running more. I mean, what is going on in football? Drew Aller and Arch Manning are leading their teams in rushing. And then last night, Trevor Lawrence and Mahomes are leading their teams in rushing.
Yeah.
What is going on?
I was actually surprised. This is the first full game I've watched Jacksonville this year. I was surprised at the wheels. He really
he ran a 4.6 at his pro day.
That was 6 years ago.
But I don't think he's running a 4.6, but he can move, Charles.
Yes,
this
he
is
can.
The tease.
He's still moving very well,
and he's powerful. He, on the play at the end, he shows you. So he shows you in that last drive what the tease is. His measurables. He's legit 6'6". Mm-hmm. He ran a 4.6. That's at his pro day at Clemson, 4.61. But that might be.
And you mentioned before, he's put on some weight.
He has.
He's filled out.
He is not 220.
He's filled out.
Most do. But the throw he made to Thomas, how many quarterbacks can make that throw? That's great coverage. Yeah. Give Thomas credit. Maybe that's something he can build on to. He's had a case of the dropsies so far this year after an unbelievable rookie season last year. And then when he but the lineman steps on his foot, he falls down. To be agile and athletic enough to get back and then run. But then, like those guys, a lot of quarterbacks they would have got right there. No, he's too strong. Too big and strong. And, he gets into the end zone easily. So that's the tease. But the design runs and all this, and we saw this in the first Friday night game against the Chargers down in Mexico, or Brazil. Mahomes is running way more than he ever has. And I can remember a big touchdown run in the conference championship game against the Titans that year. All right, so we know he's got wheels, but he's running he's taking hits. He's running, maybe it's the urgency. Maybe it's what they have to do. He is an effective runner. But
Jimmy,
I'll
say this. It was an outlier performance for him. So far this year, the most rushing yards he had added was 12. For Trevor Lawrence. I looked into his rushing stats. This is something we see sometimes, not just in the playoffs, but prime-time games. Sometimes quarterbacks have a tendency to run more in prime-time games, the big games.
It's funny they do, and I know you pay attention to props, and they do. They do. And this is prime time on steroids. This is not the Giants and the Jets who we see. And if you didn't get – and it was an entertaining game, the Saints-Giants. And if you didn't get enough, we'll see them in 2 nights. But anyway, the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, they're not going to stop. Jacksonville, they send them to Europe for multiple games every year. I mean, they don't play primetime. I mean, Monday night games, primetime games very often at home. They just don't. Did you see the stands? Did you see the color ratio in the stands?
The red.
It was as 50-50, but it was all blended in together. It wasn't like sectionalized like Texas, Oklahoma.
When I noticed it,
it was unbelievable. There was loud cheers for each team.
the national anthem, the Chiefs yell Chiefs at the end.
Home of the Chiefs.
Home of the Chiefs, and you could hear Chiefs during the national anthem.
Just so we got a lot of opinions, a lot of things to take away, a lot of things, but some teams playing with some urgency. And the $1 million question, we know the record's good, but is Lawrence going to clean it up? It's because there's a lot of room to clean up, but he's also, they got a good running game. They got some, Hunter, little by little, is kind of getting, make that play. I know it was kind of a flukish type of play, but damn, that shows you
he goes up
what
and
kind
makes
of
the play.
athlete he is.
Yeah.
It's just, the other thing is the conference, and these are two AFC teams, and look who is in the playoffs if they start today for the AFC.
Oh, I want to talk about that when we come back from the first break because I got a question for you in regards to
how many times have we seen this? Because who's the main players in the AFC?
Kansas City, Baltimore, Buffalo.
All
at the
lost.
beginning of the season.
No, they are. Yeah. All lost. All lost this weekend.
Yeah, and the Ravens are 1-4 and in last place.
But, I mean,
still favored to win a division in last place.
Well, Jackson, one more game out?
At least, yeah.
Okay, well, that schedule and that defense, if they're going to give up 30, 40 a game, he's got no room for error even when he comes back.
Never thought I'd see the Ravens last in the league.
We're at Mike Anderson's and, some of the things, the oysters in the news and stuff. That is not our supplier. That is not. We are. And listen, man, we do oysters over here full, year round because we're refrigerated. We've got the same provider for years and years and years. Our oyster prices have not got up. That's why we can do the half-off oysters every Tuesday night over here because with a lot of – you see the prices of oyster po' boys around town the last 5 years or so? No, we can still keep our prices competitive. And a lot of restaurant prices have gone up. But with our oysters, we have maintained that, and we maintain the quality that we get with our provider. That makes some consistency because oysters can fluctuate a little bit over the course of the year. They're pretty consistent over here at Mike Anderson's. Every Tuesday night starting at 5 p.m., 5 to 9 p.m. in the bar area, it is oysters and a half shell or a half price. October features, so we're turning the new month this here at Mike Anderson's. Butternut squash soup, the crab stack. That's a fried eggplant rounds with crab dressing patties in between and topped with the gratin sauce. Buffalo shrimp, the shrimp Victoria, which is a fresh filet, grilled to perfection and topped with shrimp sautéed in Worcestershire white wine cream sauce with a perfect blend of seasonings thrown with your side of the side salad or coleslaw. Crab champagne, pan-seared black drum over angel hair pasta, topped with jumbo lump crab meat sautéed in a champagne butter sauce. It comes with a salad, coleslaw, or garlic bread. Pumpkin praline cheesecake, and your drinks a Parish Pescator Lime Lager and a frozen blueberry slinger. Our October features all month long here at Mike Anderson's.
Live at Mike Anderson's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN.
Lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Remember, the show's available on demand, 1045ESPN.com and LouisianaSports.net. It's brought to you by Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com, supporting Louisiana farmers since the 1930s. Okay, at the 5-week mark, we've got a handful of teams, 7 of them, at 4-1. And if you want to throw the Steelers in here at 3-1 with the plus the buyout, you can do that. It's Colts, Jaguars, and Bills in the AFC. It's Eagles, Lions, Niners, Bucks in the NFC. Who's the best team if you had to go right now?
Of course, the Bills. I mean, let's start with that. But I think it's way closer than it's been. And I worry about their defense and Al, but Al, nobody's close to Allen in that group. But I think the teams are. I think that I I think the Colts are
the eyeballs
pretty good, and I think they have a navigable schedule.
So I have what my eyeballs tell me, and then I have what the data is as far as resume, okay? I think the Colts look pretty doggone good. I think Daniel Jones is having a Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold-ish renaissance, and Jonathan Taylor, one of the best backs in the league. Good defense. But 3 of their 4 wins are against the Raiders, Titans, and Dolphins, which is the bottom of the league. And the game they won against the Broncos, well, let's just say that was a coin flip game, okay?
Oh, did the Rams game wasn't a coin flip?
It was. And okay, so they're probably about what they're supposed to be.
They're where they should be.
Okay, so 3 of their 4
and two of the 5 games are Denver and the Rams.
And 3 of the 4 wins are against the bottom of the league. But I think the Colts look good. I agree with you there. Buffalo's got 4 wins. Jets, Dolphins, and Saints. Also bottom of the league. The 4th win is against the Ravens, who are not nearly as good as we thought they were at the beginning of the season when Buffalo beat them. I still think Buffalo looks great. If I had to bet somebody out of the AFC to go to the Super Bowl right now, I'd still bet Buffalo.
Well, I mean, how many playoff wins does Daniel Jones have versus Josh Allen?
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Nobody's going to pick again. Nobody's not going to pick Buffalo as the best team of those 3.
If you want to include the entire NFL, I know who looks the shakiest, okay, who's getting the most publicity because they're the defending champs, and their offensive issues, be it A.J. Brown not getting enough targets or Devontae Smith not getting enough targets or Saquon Barkley, coming off that year where he was used so much. Could he possibly repeat that? But the Eagles' resume includes wins against the Rams, the Bucks, and the Cowboys. And so and the loss is to Denver, who's not bad. So they've beaten the Cowboys, Chiefs, Rams, and Bucks. That's the best resume. Do I think they're the best team? Do they look like the best team? No, not right this second. But even, I guess I'm saying, with all of their conflict and all of their troubles, they've still beaten the best run of teams, and the team they lost to.
Are they fortunate to have the record they have?
Maybe, but
I see a team with a. I mean, I can go game by game where they,
every one of them's a one-score game. The wins and the
caught
losses.
some breaks in every game.
They did.
C.D. Lamb would hit. Just had the dropsies. I mean,
of course, they lost Jalen Carter for that entire game too on the spit and deal. He's a key player.
So the Rams, multiple block field goals. We know about that.
Block punt against the Bucks.
Yeah, yes. So, the Bucks, the Bucks win was really good though. But they look, man. I mean, still that he rushed the ball how many times, Barkley? But then he missed practice yesterday. So was he hurt? That's $1 million question because you can't forget him. I mean, that's the whole thing. It makes it the rushing game. And we have debates on Jalen Hurts, but I don't care who you are, a running game of that. And he, is it so many carries last year? Is it Super Bowl
400,
hangover?
400 touches last year. That's a lot, man.
Is a little wear and tear where they got to pace him out a little bit, or whether they just going to coast the regular season and play teams closer than maybe they should because just get us to the playoffs, man. We know when it's money time then.
Watching Bucks and Seahawks on Sunday, great uniform game, by the way. Those two teams, it's not going to be the biggest shock in the world if they are playing past the first round of the playoffs. If that ends up being a game that you see in the second round of the playoffs. Outside chance at the NFC Championship game. Now, you'd have to knock the Lions out, too. But that's two pretty good, and the Niners are there at 4-1. That was a damn good football game. I mean, the high completion percentages for both over 80% of their passes. The game went back and forth.
Offensively.
Offensively. It was one of the most entertaining games of the weekend. Both of those teams are pretty good.
It was highly entertaining. It was highly offensively, whereas the defense on it. So that's part of the equation as well. Darnold makes a critical mistake after having a career day. A career day. It's kind of a microcosm of the season. Great season last year and a terrible ending. And How about Bozo? He doesn't go for 2. Well,
Right.
Game flow didn't mean anything for him, so worked out. But damn, if you're ever going to go for 2, I mean, this is an offensive game, huh?
Yeah,
and Baker, who I got to see more. I got to see more. Is he the MVP of the league right now?
Yes. If I had to vote for somebody right now, he gets to vote.
He's mine.
Yep.
It's just he's had injuries. He's had this. His running game, whatever. His Hall of Famers. I mean, the game-winning drives every damn game. When the game on the line, he's at his best. And you know what he does too, Charlie? You know, when we talk about the quarterbacks with their legs, who are getting paid way more for their arms. Mm-hmm. Man, he makes some critical runs. What was the game? They were down to their last play. It's their 4th and 10. What game was that? Early in the season, where it was Houston. It was Houston on Monday night
on the 4th. Yeah.
I mean, they're in the last play. I mean, he had a critical when Seattle grabbed him. They're down 7. Had a critical 3rd and long conversion run on the game tying TD.
Maybe we ought to give Josh Allen more credit for hauling what is a pretty shaky defense to this record at this point, but I would vote for Mayfield. They've also got they've got better wins, I think, if you just give them it depends on what you think
maybe
of the
we're
Texans.
guilty of because Baker's never played at this level. The respect is at an apex for Baker right now. It just kind of doesn't Josh Allen do this most every year? So how many? So maybe we're a little guilty of that. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm still taking Josh Allen over Baker Mayfield if I got to win a game to win tomorrow in the playoffs.
Sure, but we're talking about voting on the first 5 games.
But when also you get some voter fatigue. So if you're going to be a repeat MVP winner, well, it's got to be about margin, and but Mayfield is lighting it up, man.
Matthew Stafford and Dak Prescott have great numbers too, I would vote for Mayfield.
You group those high draft picks that go to a rough situation and they bounce around and then they kind of settle in. No, they're good quarterbacks. The Baker Mayfield, Daniel Jones, Geno. Oh, is Geno out that club yet? They are ready to run him out of Vegas already.
He's having a terrible start to the season. He was in the club, and now he's aged out of the club. Remember, he's like, 7 years older than those guys.
Baker Mayfield and Geno Smith can't be in the same club. They can't be.
They use not
the tires, the engine, all the amenities, exactly what you want, and not one thing that that you think is unnecessary. So you can customize it through their website, through Go Chevrolet. I don't just talk about the vehicles over at Go Chevrolet. I drive one. It's Go Chevrolet in LaPlace. Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plaquemine.
Live at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch. Live at Lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we're brought to you in part by the Thibodeau Store, the Pierre Part Store, and now in LaRose and Lockport as well. LaRose and Lockport stores. You can go to thethibodeaustore.com and get all the information that you need. You can change stores on the website so you can get to the one that is closest to you. Great for all your hardware, for all your garden tools, all your fishing equipment down at the Thibodeau Store. Lots of outdoor cooking equipment. You can get to the website. Same-day pickup is offered at all of the properties, and some of these items are available for delivery. Cozy up on the patio this fall with great patio furniture at the Thibodeau Store, the Pierreport Store, now in LaRose and Lockport. Online, it's thethibodeaustore.com.
All right, so crazy Monday night game last night. The first time that the Jaguars have been on Monday Night Football since 2023, and before that, they hadn't been on Monday night in 11 years. Max, what's the number again? Trevor Lawrence coming into this game. He ran it a lot more last night. 2 touchdowns and an inch away from a third TD rushing. Other than that, not at all, basically.
Yeah, coming in through 4 games, 15 carries for 32 yards. And in this game, 10 carries for 52 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Andy, can we take away of putting too much emphasis on this win, this atmosphere, this come from behind birthday for Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars? Is this a fade spot for next week, sort of a college angle?
It could be, but you also don't know, because sometimes teams, when they have a breakthrough win like that. And remember, they've had a winning, they've had a good season so far. Sometimes that builds confidence and momentum. It's up to the coach to be able to get these guys to be able to focus. I like the way that this coach responds to some things like that. It would be a natural situation, especially hosting a Seattle team that was themselves victim of an upset at home against Tampa Bay. I like this Jacksonville team. I think the show the other day, I included them as one of the three teams in the teaser that we had, and I said I believe that wouldn't be shocked if Jacksonville wins that game, and maybe surprised at a little bit how it happened. But this is a team. The AFC South all of a sudden is getting interesting because Indianapolis is playing so well. Maybe Houston found something after that last that blowout over Baltimore. I'm not sure because fundamentally they're still a solid defensive team. But I think both Jacksonville and Indianapolis, expected to be improved, have shown that so far.
Well, and I agree. I think the Colts are pretty good. I think that Jacksonville has a chance, and I think Houston is on their way to getting better. I love their defense, and the other thing is they got one of their pieces back at receiver, and that was Christian Kirk. And so I'm trying to find out when Tank Dell will return, but you'll still have spotty protection. But this is Stroud has just not had any guys open. He had them open on Sunday against a really banged up Baltimore defense. But the $1 million question is this young team with this young head coach in this prospect still. He's not young, but he's a mild disappointment to this point in Trevor Lawrence. He's got all the ability in the world, but a mild disappointment to this point. And is this a springboard that these young, unproven coaches, players, teams need? Or are they going to follow it up?
Yeah, I think that Lawrence has had the talent. They finally got the running game going, but I think the biggest improvement this year, even though the Kansas City gained yardage, the overall improvement of the Jacksonville defense has been pretty spectacular. And the thing I pointed out the other, just take a look at the turnovers they have forced this year compared to the 9 they forced all last season.
Sorry, Tank Dell, the ACL, he is out for the season, so he is out. That Kirk is about it to help him out on the offense. Survivor, you're our proxy, and 5 total submissions and 2 go down in very popular picks. The Rams on Thursday night in Arizona.
As well. I'm wearing bandages as well from this past Sunday.
And is this the appealing thing about the Survivor is that every loss is a bad beat. This one on Sunday in Arizona is on a different level. And
I'll explain my thinking because I had 3 teams I was considering. Of course, the 2 that I did not choose were victorious. I was contemplating between Minnesota on the in London against Cleveland. I was considering the Colts against the Raiders, and I was considering Arizona against the
Titans.
The Titans. Yeah. And my thought process was, I stayed away from the Indianapolis Raiders game because you had 2 quarterbacks who are somewhat comparable. You didn't have that huge of a difference. The Minnesota game, I stayed away because of Cleveland's really, really good defense, and I was concerned. And, of course, the way that turned out, it took a touchdown in the last minute for Minnesota to get the win. And when I looked at the Titans and Cardinals, I said, you have effectively what so far has been a mismatch. Tennessee has gotten worse each game through the first 4 games. The Cardinals were a team that they normally beat the teams they should beat. They lose to the teams that they should lose to. I was concerned. In fact, I actually did something that I have done maybe only once or twice during my time playing the Survivor over the years. I actually did a money line hedge on the Titans because I was concerned about Arizona's propensity, and we saw it earlier this season, the way they allowed Carolina and New Orleans to come back on them after they had relatively safe leads. That didn't quite happen that way this time because most of the issues in this game was Arizona's mistakes with that the dropped ball right before the touchdown, and then, of course, that crazy play after the interception and the fumble. So I went with what I felt was the greatest disparity between the teams and the quarterbacks. Just didn't work, and again, it was one of the most bizarre beats you'll ever have.
Max, do you want to add, or you weren't, you were busy producing shows at that time, Max?
Yeah, I was. I just,
Did you go back and review it, and do you have another? Because I think there's one that Andy failed to mention that I know when I bring it up, he's going to talk about as well. So controlling what you can control, certainly just giving up the ball before you cross the goal line is the worst. But
especially
the interception is up there.
Especially it was brought into focus the week before when I forget who else did it. Same situation.
Yeah, the Colts.
Indianapolis.
Yeah. They play each other this week.
That was a wild play. That adds to it as far as the interception that nobody can recover, and it ends up in the end zone for a touchdown. So that cut the lead to, let me see,
21-19.
Yeah,
21-19.
Because they went for two and missed it.
21-19 for with the 4:40 to go. Third and so you're trying to run out the clock. 2:12 to go. 3rd and 8. What do you run?
I would run something right at the sticks,
just run and got stuff?
You give a run up the middle on 3rd and 8. We're running clock. We're gonna play defense. Who gives the opponent the ball when only needs a field goal with 2 minutes to go in an NFL game?
And you didn't
anybody.
And you didn't even get the full 40 run off because that ran into the 2-minute warning.
Well, sure.
Yeah. So
there's
you don't even
when he
whatever you think of Kyler Murray, you got to trust him there to make something happen. Yeah.
You think?
If it would have been the play after the 2-minute warning, you're going to run 40 maybe.
How many timeouts did Tennessee have at the time?
Tennessee
they had one left.
Had used 2.
Okay.
Yeah, they had one left
on this drive.
So even if Arizona attempts a couple of passes on 2nd and 3rd down to get the first down, and they're incomplete, so no time runs off the clock, Tennessee still would have plenty of time if Arizona did not get the first down to manage the clock. If they get the first down, there go the remaining timeouts, and Arizona's probably able to be successful.
So you started that drive started at the 20, run to the left for 1 yard, 2nd and 9. They throw the ball for 8 yards. Yep. That sets up a 3rd and 1, which they convert with a 4-yard run. So you run up the middle for 2 yards. It's 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9. This time you run it again for no gain. And then you run. No, you gotta throw it on 2nd or 3rd there. Certainly on 3rd. You cannot give Tennessee the ball with 2 minutes to go. These guys are making field goals from 70 yards.
Even if it's a simple screen, just to keep the clock moving. Something.
Well, the clock's going to run into the 2-minute warning. Okay, so they're not going to be able to take the full 40 off there. But if they complete the ball for the first down, obviously they can end the game. Tennessee took the last time out they had to kick the field goal. I mean, they were able to keep it the entire time.
Yes, it was just unbelievable.
Contrast that with what Denver did when they closed to within a point of Philadelphia or 2 point, whatever it was, and they go for the win rather than the tie, because they have a good defense that they can rely on, and if they take the lead, they can force Philadelphia. They still have to force Philadelphia to make a score, and if they fall short, their defense Denver's defense has a good chance of getting the ball back.
They did have another possession down there and did kick a field goal to make put Philly in a position where they needed a touchdown and not a field goal. But I mean, in the NFL, if anybody, the most casual observer, can tell that this kicking's at an all-time high. Yeah. And then you go kick in altitude in Phoenix and Glendale. This is 65 in. You got a shot, so you get the ball to midfield. The 48-yard line.
How long did Tom Dempsey's record last? Like something like 35, 40 years, and it's been broken several times since then.
Yes, indeed. Andy, do you have any college picks that you're on this week?
I haven't decided yet. The one game I am looking at is a very good South Florida team. They've now been turned from a 1-point underdog to about a 1-point favorite as they go down to North Texas, which is unbeaten. Not that South Florida is, because they did lose that game to Miami. But this is an important game because them, along with Memphis, they really have a shot to be the Group of 5 representative, especially with Boise now suffering a second loss. And, of course, you do have South Florida's big win against Florida that would put them in good stead if a number of teams end up with one loss. Right now, I make the favorite Memphis to be that Group of 5 representative, but I really like the South Florida team.
You're talking about the same South Florida team on Monday night who was laying 27.5 or 28, and they're up 21, and they're going a tempo with less than a minute to go to put it on 28. Yeah, that South Florida.
The very same one.
Yes.
The South Florida who understands that they have some well-heeled alumni.
Congratulations, Andy. We have to thank you for your contributions. 3-team teaser pays about $150 or so in another pick. Part of a 21-5 football Sunday.
Wow.
Very good. Very well done, buddy. So we appreciate your contributions, and we will talk to you this Sunday live from Caesar Sportsbook in New Orleans.
We'll try and do it again and follow it up. Have a good week, guys. Thank you.
Good job, buddy. Thank you very much. Don't forget our friends at K&M Automotive on Segan Lane, the only place I take my vehicle. Jason Payne over. Charlie, you've had a good success story over there.
I was there
constantly.
I was there yesterday to pick up my vehicle, which had a little problem with the steering column, and as usual, Jason was very forthright with, hey, well, we can. There's some things we can do here, and trying to keep your costs down. And my wife's got a light on that shouldn't be on, so went and dropped hers off, picked mine up. Worked out real well. And as always, the service is fantastic, and they're going to do their best for you.
7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, 8445 Segan Lane off of Perkins, across Segan from Ambrosia Bakery, the only place I take my vehicle. And now Charlie, too. K&M Automotive on Segan Lane.
Live at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN.
Lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Story will be monitoring closely all week with Red River this weekend with Texas and Oklahoma. John Mateer is trying to come back for this game. It would be less than 3 weeks after hand surgery. It's on his throwing hand. There was a broken bone in his right hand. They said that the recovery on this would be 2 to 4 weeks. So this is on the optimistic side of this thing. It would be 17 days out of surgery. Jimmy, what's Mateer worth on the point spread, do you think? Currently right now, Texas is sitting as a 1.5-point favorite in this game.
Well, it was 3, and that's why it's moved down a little bit. But if Mateer is playing, Texas is about 3.5, 3.5. Because I'm sorry, Oklahoma's 3. So 6 points. I think the line at Texas 3 tells you Mateer is not playing. We talked about this with Paul Stone.
But it's down a little bit now.
Well, that is because what you're doing right now,
yeah,
and people, that is creating confidence in the market that he might be playing. So they are taking their chance and say, because when who was it that wasn't going to play with the LSU game?
Nussmeier.
Yeah, it's Nussmeier. Okay, so with Clemson. Okay, and they took Clemson -3 at the time.
Went to 4.5. 5.
Right.
Yeah.
So they take 3. Well, it's going to go off Clemson -3 if he plays.
Correct.
So I'm only going to benefit just in case he doesn't play. So that's what they did when they took the +3.
So Texas at 1.5. That's the ABC game.
Being the Arch Manning apologist that I am, again, here's the number for you: 59% rush rate. Pressure rate. 59% of his dropbacks against Florida, he was pressured.
I thought they told me Texas had a good defensive line. Now, I like Florida's
defensive line, they do.
Offensive line, too. Didn't they say they had a good offensive line?
No, that was suspect. No,
okay.
No.
Because I know Florida's defensive front is good. I've seen them 4 times now. That's a good defensive front.
Some of the plays, I watched the game again last night, some of the play, and it's he's not letting the ball go, too, when he does have time. So it's a combination. The biggest case of that is Auburn. He's got no interceptions he's thrown. That's very good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but then you go 0 for 13 on 3rd down. And you're holding the ball too long. Your protection's an issue, too, but he's being overly protective also. Jaden Daniels' first year at LSU.
Your reputation as a Manning hater's in jeopardy this week, man. I don't know.
I'm just calling him like I see him, buddy.
Live with number 2, first class, second class, no class, live at lunch, 104.5 here at Mike Anderson Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch First Class.
I want a seat in first class where I was booked and ticketed over a month ago.
Second Class.
No man should be subjected to the indignity of being labeled or treated like a second-class citizen.
And No Class.
Life had become like school on Sunday. No class.
I'll tell you what then. Why don't you call me sometime when you have no class?
First Class, Second Class, and No Class. Brought to you by Supreme Rice. Buy local with Louisiana-based Supreme Rice since 1936.
And return here at Mike Anderson's Wesley at Nicholson for First Class, Second Class, and No Class. All right, let's start some of the big performances of this past weekend. We've given, and when I say we, I mean me mostly, but I think you've chimed in on this too. We have given Nico.
Yeah, Maliabe.
Yeah, we've given him a lot of grief at different times, and some of it very well deserved. But I got to give credit where credit is due. One of the most shocking wins of the last, I don't know, at least 15 years, I would say, back to Stanford and SC, shockers in college football. And Nico was terrific on Saturday. Only 166 yards through the air, but 2 touchdowns. Another $128 and 3 more touchdowns on the ground. They came out first drive. They go down the field. They get them. They get them in a bad deal with the onside kick. They recover that easy. They get another field goal. They had momentum, and Penn State came after them. Penn State got back in the game. There were times where it looked like, okay, Penn State's woken up in time. Nope. They hang on and they win that one for the biggest upset of this season and the biggest upset as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to go back to SC and Stanford, Jimmy, that 42-point spread when Harbaugh was coaching the Cardinal and Pete Carroll was still with SC, and SC was still
it's
not quite at the top of the game, but pretty close.
This is a 24-point spread. That was a 42-point spread.
And that
was an all-time. Harbaugh took over a dumpster fire.
And the difference is in that game, SC had them 2-1 on the yardstick. They committed 5 turnovers. So you could say, well, there were some unusual things happening in that game. This game was pretty much played straight up. There was 1 turnover, but UCLA played them straight up, and they beat them. And I would have never, ever picked them to do that.
The point spread because, they've played nobody, and they have no wins. Texas and Penn State, 2 preseason top 3 teams, to this point, they were still ranked in the top 10 or
number
right
7,
around
yeah.
it. 7 of Penn State, and I forget what Texas, with 0 wins over Power 4 teams. And so, Nico, the one thing, though, 158 of his 166 yards passing were in the first half. It lasted for a half. Will it be sustained when they go to East Lansing against Michigan State? And I think that's another thing, historically, how we're going to rate this thing. Is this UCLA's only win? Is this going to be 2-10 type of team? If that's the case, then yes, that adds more to the level of historical
and
upset.
Probability. We thought 0-12 was in play. I did.
I know one thing it is. Okay, that defense with those guys at Singleton and what's the other guy that came back that would have been high picks in the NFL draft to come back with the whole offensive line for the quarterback to be your leading rusher. They let that overtime loss at home to Oregon carry over to the next week. And that's the biggest thing. Little game James, man. Clemson and Penn State, had things in place. So much returning for 2 pretty good teams last year. Not so far.
Texas Tech gets in the first class, and specifically the quarterback. I'm real interested in how this kid plays in the second half of the season. Bayron Morton is a senior quarterback. He was a part-time starter as a freshman, full-time starter the last 2 years. 12 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions so far this season. He had a big game last week in their win against Houston. Houston's not a bad team. They're 4-0, and Texas Tech kind of went in there and smacked them around pretty good. Morton threw for 345 yards. You and I both like Willie Fritz, and he's got a good team. But they were out of their
He's far from
class.
his best roster.
Yeah, they
his
were
best
outclassed.
roster still to come. He took over a weak roster last year. This year's better, but next year is going to be that much better. But they went in, dismantled an inferior roster the way you should. Over 300 passing, 200 rushing, and this guy's number 7 in the country for yards per attempt.
Charlie,
right now.
I was already
and we know what kind of defense they play and how they are built at the line of scrimmage.
Baron Morton's had a lot of injuries over his career. I was already hearing some speculation that maybe Will Hammond was the better quarterback. So he needed a good performance in this game, and he did it. So he's still got the starting role firmly intact. But Will Hammond is a really good backup.
Hammond did play better than him in Utah when he came in, when he was injured. He did play better, but this is your guy with experience. He's a freshman, the kid for the backup, from Austin, Texas. But Morton is your guy, and, man, listen, top 7, your guy, too, we got to play this week. To your point, if Lagorius Sellers is top 10 in yards per attempt, bro, it's over. He's going number 1.
I like him.
It is over. He's number 5 right now.
Texas Tech's schedule thickening up just a little bit. They got Kansas this week, at Arizona State the following week, and they get BYU 2 weeks after that. So we'll see how they do. They spent plenty of money on this roster. They're spending plenty money in Lubbock on all things, all sports. All sports. They're going to win a softball national championship, but that dude's going to go broke.
Football's always been called a copycat sport. You mimic success. It's kind of any business industry, period, huh? But this is going to be mimicked. You see, Texas Tech, we need all the fundraisers.
Rub a little money on it.
But then the other fundraisers will say, wait, I'm paying for what? At Chapel Hill? I'm paying for what? In Happy Valley?
Yeah, rub a little money on it sometimes works, but not all the time. And one of the more impressive wins I thought this weekend was Virginia, not because of how the game played out. Against Louisville, they went in there as about a touchdown underdog, and Louisville controlled the yardstick, but Virginia won. And Virginia won off a week where this has been a very, very good angle for us, Jimmy. The field rush fade. You came up with the moniker.
I had it.
You came with the moniker. The field rush against Florida State. Now, that was a Friday night, so they had one extra day. But to go on the road as a touchdown underdog after you've had the biggest win for Virginia in 10 years, I don't know. Take your pick.
Since they stopped work done 30 years ago.
Okay, so you come off of that win and go on the road and still win the game. That was impressive to me.
There's field rush fades, but that thing in Charlottesville Friday night was a little scary. I mean, they
got out there in a hurry, didn't they?
They were on pause for 45 minutes because they thought the game was ending, but Florida State hung around. It was about to be over, but it kept going and going and going, and I swear the student section tripled.
A little different than the field rush in the Rose Bowl. Did you see this? Security was arresting kids, basically, because there were so few people who actually rushed the field. They were trying to still contain it while fans had entered the field because there's so few people. You might as well just get them out.
They could have talked to them one by one. There weren't that many.
Pretty much.
Jerry Newhouse's wife, she got run too, huh?
I don't know. I mean, it's not hard to keep.
Charlie, 14 people there, so have a little.
Charlie,
bit of fun.
sometimes box scores can be a little misleading, and yes, the total yards 383 to 237 for Louisville. But just like last night's game, when you drive down to the 1 yard line and you have a pick six and you get the ball right back, and so you get another possession, a double possession, so Kansas City's yards are going to be inflated. They had more yards, but it's more exaggerated. 2 defensive touchdowns for Virginia. So same guys. So those we're scoring touchdowns, but they're giving a ball right back to Louisville.
Gotcha. Second class. I put the moniker in there a long time. Good with a chance to be great. It doesn't always fall into that, but I think this one does. I was wrong on Drake May. I wasn't wild about him coming out of North Carolina. I saw the physical skills, but there wasn't – he did not seem to have the biggest feel for the game when I saw him at North Carolina. I saw a talented kid from an athletic family, a very, very sports-intense family, and I saw a guy that just didn't seem to have a feel for the game. I said, man, I don't know if that guy's going to be a good NFL quarterback. And maybe Mitchell Trubisky was in the back of my head, and that's not fair to Drake May. I was wrong. Watching this game on Sunday night against Buffalo, he made some special plays. He made some plays that suggest to me that at some point early in his career, he's going to be a top 8 NFL quarterback. The statistics are up there for the beginning of this season, but it was more the plays that he made. especially when he was rolling to his right. The long play down to Diggs. The play near the end on the last drive of the game where it's first down and he's inches off the ground with his knee. He makes another play to Diggs. It ends up going for about 10, 12 yards. He made a lot of those plays the other night, and he just seems to be playing with so much more of a feeling in the rhythm and flow of the game. I got a good coach in Mike Vrabel.
Yes.
I think that this kid now, I was wrong about him. I think he can be a top 8 quarterback in the league.
Even though Vrabel's specialty is on the other side of the ball, he can help him out with situational awareness, decisions, process. No, he can. I think it's a little bit of Vrabel too. He started 2 years. He's athletic. He makes plays when needs to, but committed to the pocket. And look, he's making Keyshawn Boutte look really good. He's having a nice start this season.
Yes, he absolutely had some nice catches the other night.
Keep himself clean, keep him going. What did we discuss yesterday, Max? The draft class, how we ranked them, and who was the one we put ahead?
Well, it was Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May is how they went, and then
Drake May
and
Jaden Daniels.
So Jaden Daniels, then who's number 2?
Drake May.
May ahead of Williams.
Then Caleb Williams.
We have May ahead of Caleb Williams.
And then after that, you go with like Penix and Bo Nix and Spencer Rattler, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, J.J. McCarthy, if you want to look at the 4 quarters that he's played or 6 quarters that he's played, whatever. Yeah. The other, not necessarily good with a chance to be great, but good and off to a good start, Dylan Gabriel in the London game on Sunday morning. First start for Cleveland, not bad. Browns had the lead in this thing. Minnesota had to come back in the fourth quarter and win it. Gabriel, Jimmy, we watched a lot of this game while we were doing Football Sunday. 19 of 33, $190, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. We certainly looked, I thought, all right for a first start. I've seen way worse.
So that's the stats. Yeah, the stats are, okay, against a respected defense in Minnesota, against a defensive coordinator in Flores who's bringing it. His blitz rate is way up there, so he looked very comfortable. And Charlie, he got the ball out. And so he has played a lot of football. And I remember the first game, they went up to Pitt, and the quarterback that had the horrible knee injury, Mackenzie Milton, and he came in that one, and he was firing and throwing ball. Not super big arm, but gets it out quick, and he got better every step. He got better from Central Florida to Oklahoma, and he's got some. We talk about Oklahoma, Texas. It was his legs that really bought some extra time with that game-winning touchdown. And 2 of my favorite, more memorable 2-minute drives to win the game was Dylan Gabriel against Texas. I mean, it came down to that very end. He had about a minute and a half, and they scored with about 8 seconds to go, and he was great on that. And Kellen Moore against Virginia Tech with Boise State. Just such a command. Remind you like Snake Stabler or something, Charlie, back in the day. Just ignoring it, not wasting 1 second, but not rushed, and just moving right down the field, and just textbook on how to run a 2-minute offense.
Did a very, very nice job.
How many starts did he have? 50-something in college?
Oh,
Gabriel?
Gosh, over multiple schools, probably in that area. I would say certainly in the 40s somewhere. No class, man. There's choking away games, and then there's fluke plays, and then there's just choking away games. And I know we've talked about it a little bit, but I wanted to just a little bit more context on this Tennessee-Arizona thing and how they were able to lose this game. When you think, Max, we do those win percentages, those in-game win percentages, when it is 21-6. I know you can't do it in the middle of the play, but if you're in the middle of the play at 21-6 in the early part of the fourth quarter, and somewhere between the 50 and the goal line, you could have had a win percentage on Arizona because he's going to break this for a touchdown. You're 99 point something.
It was 98.7 even before
the snap. Okay,
so
perfect. All right. What has to happen at 21-6 at that point for Tennessee to win the game is not just Beachum fumbling. Okay, that was bad. Would have put you up 28-6, essentially put the game away. But Tennessee got the ball at their own 20. They still got to go the length of the field. They've done nothing offensively all day. They go 80 yards in 2 minutes. This is the second unlikely thing that has happened. because they had done nothing to that point. Then they missed the extra point. So Arizona is, by the way, most of the kickers in the league, the distance and all that stuff, 3 kickers are struggling. Sly is one. He's missed 5. Groupie, Butker has missed 5 kicks.
Yes,
for
and the
Kansas
kickoff
City.
was huge last night.
Yes, absolutely.
Out of bounds.
And Joey Sly, who had missed 2 40-yard field goals the week before, misses the extra point here. So you're still up 2 scores. What do? You get the ball back. There's 10 minutes to go. You're going to run some clock. You're going to be able to, put a drive together. 3 and out. Then the crazy interception, fumble, touchdown. Guess what? You're still ahead. You're still ahead 21-19 at that point. You get the ball back, and then we went through this other scenario where you don't allow Kyler Murray to try to make a play to win it.
Oh, that's crazy.
And then you give the ball back to Arizona. They still got to Tennessee. They still got to go. They were on their own 18-yard line. Their own 18-yard line.
I know, but
there's
Charlie,
like 6 things that had to happen to lose this game. I mean, the fumble, of course, triggered it all. And the interception that turns into a touchdown for Tennessee is a bizarre play. You might see it once every 3 years or 5 years.
Just under
But
2.
there were other things that happened. Like 4 other things had to happen besides that for them to lose this game.
Yeah, control what you can control, though. The bounce of the ball's not round. I mean, it takes funny bounces, so that happened. But control, you got to be more aggressive. You cannot give them the ball back at that point. You can't. They had the momentum. They started to show some signs that they were moving the ball, and they're making field goals from 65 yards consistently right now. To me, though, I thought the more of the blame goes on Max's pick. I thought the pick sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Rams guy. Yeah, they were trailing the whole game.
It's
buddy.
a joke.
I know. Come on, Charlie. You got this.
I would love to take credit for this, but the truth is, if Jimmy would have told me on Thursday that he was taking the Colts, I would have taken the Rams. I would have made
sure. And I did the opposite.
Yeah,
I did just the opposite.
We would have had it covered.
And y'all had used the Cardinals already.
So correct.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a mistake not to use the Cardinals this past week. I mean, they just blew it, man. I mean, hey, the survivor has been. It's still early. There was a lot of guys that took it pretty hard. It's still the first week of October. There's a lot of hurdles to overcome yet. It's not the Grandissimo where there's 20 people left. There's still 4,500 left. There's a lot, but man, this is an all-timer on just how you lose. It's bonehead, bad, and against an 0-4 team.
We were talking about this in the break, Jimmy. I'm going to keep playing as if I'm alive just so that when I lose in like week 7, I'll feel a lot better.
Can I tell you that your over-under will be early November?
Oh, you think I'll make it that long? Okay.
Yeah. But please do it.
I will feel way better when I lose another
game. You can sleep better.
Ask me mine each week. I'll give you mine, too. Okay. We'll see.
First class, second class.
Hold on 1 second.
All right.
Here's the you said 40-something games, you think? Dylan
40-something.
66.
I forget kids stay in school for a decade now.
23, his freshman and sophomore years at Central Florida, and he played 3 and got hurt in 21. All right? But then 24 at Oklahoma in 2 years and 14 more at Oregon. He's the all-time college leader, career touchdowns. 155. 155 touchdowns.
That's
Meanwhile, the Browns traded Joe Flacco away to the Bengals.
They did?
Bengals.
Bengals are trying to salvage what they can.
I thought they might have called the Giants and asked for Jameis Winston.
Browning's hard to watch, but that's not the answer.
I agree.
No. I'd have called the Giants. I'd ask for Jameis Winston before I'd ask for Joe Flacco. Maybe that wouldn't have worked either, but
I mean, God throws interceptions left and right, but everybody loves him in the locker room.
Or Russell Wilson, if you prefer that. I don't. It's what's available. First class, second class, no class. Brought to you by Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com. Since the 1930s, down in Southwest Louisiana, Supreme Rice has been grown, milled, and processed right there in Southwest Louisiana. You know, when you're doing it for that long, you're doing something right. It's an affordable rice. It is a delicious rice. Comes in the brown, the long grain, the medium grain, the jasmine, the parboiled rice. And, of course, they're part of the Climate Smart program, producing or promoting water conservation and reducing methane emissions.
It's real simple with the Climate Smart program. These are lifelong Louisiana rice farmers and been doing it. And so to show you appreciation, we're also looking forward to future generations to keep this going. You know what I mean? Some areas of the country, it's a long time, sort of resources are not utilized like they used to be. This is making sure that Louisiana will maintain one of their resources for a long time to come.
For more information and great recipes, go to SupremeRice.com. Live at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Return here at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch. Jimmy, how long ago was it that the Mississippi schools, Ole Miss in particular, was selling home games for money? I know it happened in '59, but what's the latest that you would say that the latest you remember that happening?
Well, the Mississippi schools, I just remember that when they were playing in Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
and then when they were building their stadiums up in. They were transitioning more games from – it was the same era that Arkansas was playing a majority of their games in Little Rock. Alabama was playing all of their games in Birmingham. And Mississippi State and Ole Miss were in the process of transitioning more games to campus. That was Charlie.
In the 90s for sure.
It was 86. I went to a doubleheader at Jackson Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, because it was big.
Tennessee and Ole Miss played at 11:30, and LSU and Mississippi State kicked at 7. An SEC doubleheader in Jackson Memorial Stadium. So that's the history as far as Mississippi schools. Well, I saw that Auburn sold a home game.
Well, that's where I'm going with this, and I think and LSU played a game against Mississippi State in Jackson, I think as late as 1991. I remember going to the doggone game. So it was into the early 90s, okay? This one is a new one, though. First of all, it's been a long time since teams just flat out sold home games, and I'm not talking about neutral site games where both of them agreed to go for one time. Auburn went to Baylor to open this season. This was a home and home. They had already been to Baylor. They won the game. Baylor's supposed to go back to Jordan-Hare next year. Well, Auburn is moving that game to Atlanta, to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Why? Because Aflac, who is the sponsor of that game, is providing NIL opportunities for their players. They are going to participate in the promotion of this game, and they're going to be compensated directly by Aflac. Auburn still gets a bigger share of the tickets. They get 20,000 tickets, and the visiting team, in this case Baylor, only gets 3,000 tickets. But the rest of the tickets, which is roughly, I would say, 45 to 50,000, are going to be sold by the event sponsor as Aflac.
Well, it's money. It's just being advertised this exact way, straight from Aflac to the players, because that's a recruiting advantage. That's something that they're going to use to get some players into Auburn. But this is no different than Wake Forest playing Florida State a home game in Orlando, which we've seen in the past. What we saw this year to start the year of Cincinnati playing a home game 6 hours from their campus, but 3 hours from Nebraska's campus to get more money. So even though it's been 1959, it's for money, but it's also the extra step in it's a recruiting. It's going to help them. Instead of us telling the recruits and the parents, no, we're going to give some of this money, we'll give it here. No, this is directly that you have coming in. This is not the first and last of this.
Jimmy, can I dare say that Cincinnati loss might end up being loom large come college football
their path
really
is
good.
Favorable the rest of the way.
They got a loss because of a neutral site game. I mean, that was a close game.
They play at home, they probably win. Yeah. Because it was nothing neutral. It was 98% at Nebraska.
You're right. Games have been moved more recently than that.
You're the first person I thought of when I heard this.
Well, this one caught my attention for several reasons. Number one, the other game has already been played. Okay, they've already been to Waco. Mm-hmm. They have a return trip owed to them, And Auburn, I imagine, does something similar to what LSU does on a game day as far as game day revenue. And they're saying, no, we can make more money going over here, even though we've already taken – this is not, again, a neutral site game. They've already paid for that. So you can imagine what kind of cash is going there. And this is Auburn, okay? I don't want to run afoul of our Auburn friends because I got a lot of respect for that program. So, obviously, this has got to be an enormous amount of money because you're telling your Auburn fans, okay, they packed Jordan-Hare. It's one of the best home fields in all of college football. Nope, we're moving it 2 hours down the road. And then come back and say, well, we need some more NIL money. If I were an Auburn booster, I'd tell them to go get it from Aflac.
What heavyweight, you gonna be, guess what? You're gonna be bitching a lot coming up.
I know.
Because this is coming. What big time blue blood heavyweight high expectation high resource program doesn't need more NIL budget?
There's nobody that doesn't.
There's nobody that
everybody does. Look, I was aggravated with all of the neutral site games because I thought it screwed the fans
here. They're coming back.
And I still feel that. I still feel like, hey, listen, you want me to buy season tickets, you want me to pay the extra, the seat licensing funds and all that stuff, and then you're going to take the best game. Plus, if I'm an Auburn fan, I might have gone to Waco because those two teams don't play very often. Well, you know what they tell
us season ticket holders? Charlie Hannegriff, season ticket holder, line 1. Charlie, we reduced renter wins from 3 to 2. Thank you.
That's good. That's good.
The Tiger Tradition Fund is due on November 15th, sir.
Yeah, well.
They got Yellowwood's got 500 in line for your seats. You still want them?
I don't. No, I don't. If you're going to take the best games every time and move them out of there, this caught my attention that Auburn, having already played that game, decided to sell this one. Just caught me by surprise. But I think you're right. It's not the last one.
Oh no. At least, Charlie, they're in Atlanta where their biggest alumni base is. Okay. So it's like going to the Superdome. It's they've got just as many people in South Georgia, Auburn fans. I mean, it's a big pool. Okay, so it's like going to the Superdome. At least they're going to have a home field. Did you see the crowd shots in Nebraska, Cincinnati?
I did. They were all
that
red.
Was unbelievable.
Let me try to play apples to apples real quick, and I know we're at the end of this segment. If Scott Woodward came out today and said, "Guess what? Next year for the return tip for Clemson, we're moving it to Superdome." How would that go over here? Pretty poorly.
But you tell your boosters, but we're gonna this is gonna take away some of the blow of what we're asking for NIL contributions.
Well, I guess it's going to because Auburn's not going to move. John Cohen's not going to move this game unless it's financially. You know
who's coming with the money. You know who's got all the money in Louisiana. It's coming. Hold the Mayo. Hold the Mayo Bowl.
Better than
Respect your body, boy.
Better than the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl.
Don't forget our friends at United Community Bank with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow. We've been serving the people of Southern Louisiana for over 50 years. A great team of bankers: Prentice Wilkes, Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, and David Henry. Stop on by and see how we can help your business today at United Community Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we return here at Mike Anderson Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson. We're also brought to you by the Morris Insurance Group. All you big boy toys that you're getting insurance on your boats, your trailers, your motorcycles, your RVs, and, of course, your coastal properties. If you're in need of flood insurance, they urge you to look again. Your duck camps, your fishing camps, those coastal properties, sometimes they're hard to insure. Talk to my man Buzzy Hydale, morris-ig.com. You can get a quote online, or you can give them a call at 201-0007, 201-0007. Morris Insurance Group and Buzzy Hydale will help you out. Greg Bowser going to help us out here. He's with us on Tuesdays. Greg, the off week for LSU. We heard from Brian Kelly yesterday. What to accomplish? How much can you accomplish in an off week when you're coming off a game that leaves a real bad taste in your mouth?
Not a lot. I think you can correct some things and probably put in a few wrinkles, but you can't do wholesale changes and you can't totally change the mindset. But I think there are a couple of things you'd work on, and you probably did that. Put in some special things and gave him a chance to get a jump start on preparing for this coming game this Saturday?
These are the two worst rushing offenses in the league by a fairly significant margin. In fact, South Carolina is behind LSU. So to me, this game comes down to the quarterbacks. And I don't know what to expect from Garrett Nussmeier. I really don't. I've heard now for several weeks that he's not hurt, but that they're limiting him in practice anyway. Okay. Make up your mind. I've stated my case on this. I think he's hurt but not injured. So I don't know how he's going to feel. And then Lenora Sellers, who I think has got a great chance to be the number one pick in the draft. Maybe won't work out that way, but I think he's a really, really strong talent. And by the way, I think Nussmeier is going to be a high pick too. He had the injury against Vanderbilt. Was the game they lost badly. The other games he's played pretty well. So who do you give the edge here to? Because there's some unknowns with both of them.
I think if Sellers plays, if he plays in the game and he's healthy, relatively healthy, I think the edge offensively is going to go to South Carolina. I mean, I just think because he can do so much with your offense. I mean, he can really, really do some things. We saw Nussmeier struggled. Nussmeier doesn't like to run the ball. That's not going to happen. That doesn't fit into what he does. But he really struggled. And so I'm going to give the edge at quarterback to South Carolina if they can keep the quarterback healthy. Remember, a year ago, we had trouble with him, and he got hurt.
Oh, he was playing great that game.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Yeah. If he plays in the no way to prove it, but if he plays in the second half, I think they win.
But
besides the one series where they sent him out there to see if he could still move, and he couldn't. He's had, like I said, the Vanderbilt game, he was off to a terrific start, got knocked out of that game. I thought he played well against Missouri. They lost that game, but they lost it mostly because Missouri scored 29 points in the game and had a lot of offensive success against them. When you look at Nussmeier, what's realistic to expect from him? I'm asking you to guess because nobody knows for sure.
I think do we see the old Garrett Nussmeier? That's the big question. I'm with you. I don't think he's hurt. I think the
No, I don't think he. I want to be specific about this. I don't think he's injured to the point where he should go have this procedure or that procedure. I think he is hurting. Okay, something that he can play through. But what that level of pain is, I don't know. Yeah. And it seems to vary from time to time because you watch him make one good throw and then one bad throw.
I think he's, I think he's healthy, Joel. I really do. I think a lot of it has to do with from what I've been able to watch him. Looks like he's looking at the pass rush. He's watching the pass rush. He's got people dropping in the last game. They're dropping 8 against him. They're making him have to do some things and making him have to hold the football, things that he's not comfortable with. I'd like to see him just drop back and take off running a couple of times just to do it. And I think that'll loosen up some stuff for him.
You can hope. We've seen things that are wide open that they're just not going to run. That he's just not going to run. Now he's taken off a couple of times this year, but I'm sorry, I can't get past the. He's on the backside of this thing. He's feeling a lot better. He's ready to go, but he spent the whole week throwing a towel. I'm sorry, those two things don't. If he's okay, then he's throwing a football. He's not throwing a towel. So I'm inclined to believe he's still compromised. 4 days from now, I don't know how he feels. I don't know how he felt last Saturday. But I can't ignore the fact that they keep saying he's fine. He's ready to go. He's on the backside of this thing. Well, we're 3 weeks into the backside. That's a big backside, Greg, okay?
Hey,
I got a big backside, okay? But that's a big backside of this thing, man.
Yeah. I think for this game, the LSU defense is going to have to win this football game. I think
explain that.
It's a fun matchup.
They have to contain Sellers. They can't let him run crazy. And they have to force them into some mistakes. I think they have to give their offense some short fields and some early turnovers and get ahead in this football game. Because if you let South Carolina stick around, I'm telling you, with that quarterback and the danger there, that's a problem. So I think the defense is going to have to set up the offense and really come through with some big plays.
And some turnovers preferably.
Yep.
What they run really well is they run the misdirection game where they will play pass and they'll get him on a little half roll and they'll get him on the half the field and he's got a run throw option. The first drive against Virginia Tech was like that. A couple of the drives against Missouri were like that. I think that's where he's at his most dangerous because if he takes
him a
off,
threat option.
Yeah, if he takes off, he's a load, man. He's every bit of 240, 55, 50 pounds.
That's why you want to keep him in the pocket and just defensively you keep him in the pocket. Make him become a quarterback. a tradition where he's got to make decisions and go through his progressions and read the passing game. That's what you've got to do with him. You can't let him get outside on the corners and put pressure on your defensive backs with him out there running loose. That's going to be the key. That's why I said the defense is going to have to do. If they can contain him and make him have to be a quarterback, if you turn him into a quarterback, like when he's got to sit back there and go through, read every progression, I think you got a better shot.
And they've received really good play from their ends. Okay, I think Pybron and Butler and Peyton have all, and I know they're down Relaford for the rest of the year, but those three guys are all experienced guys. They all came from big programs, and they played really well. Peyton especially, I think, has played really well. So they've got that kind of play.
Yeah. I don't think LSU is going to blitz him a lot. I really don't think you're going to do that. I think you want to try to get the pressure with the guys up front. I wouldn't come after him.
One thing that Missouri did, they did sack him 5 times for negative 43 yards. So he threw for over 300 yards, high yards per attempt. You talk about the highlight play, but they did get to him.
Yeah, try to make him hold the football and try to get what mostly called coverage sacks, where he's got to hold it until the rush can get to him. Because if you blitz him and you miss, you had man coverage behind you.
Well, and that happened a few times at Ole Miss where they went with some delayed blitzes that didn't particularly work. I would ask about Harold Perkins, who didn't make much of an impact in the Ole Miss game, but he's still there. We still know what he can do.
Yeah,
I'm not suggesting a spy, but maybe I'm suggesting a spy, at least at times.
Yeah. Well, like I said, he doesn't hurt you if he sits back and becomes a quarterback. What he hurts you is when you got 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6, and all of a sudden you come after him, you miss, and there he goes.
Charlie, I think this is the spy game.
Yeah,
this is the spy game to me, if you ask me. As good as his arm has been, and maybe that's why, because other teams are. They're giving a spy too and leaving one less guy in coverage.
And Perkins can run with him.
He can run. Yeah,
there's no question.
Yeah, he's the guy to handle that.
He can do that. You've been around this place a long time. We were listening yesterday, me and my wife. Off of a bye week, it's a really bad time to lose. She goes, "You guys been stewing for a week and a half now. So what's that like for the players?"
Well, it's tough for the players. The best part about it for the players is that when you don't have practice, you can get out of town.
Okay, that worked Thursday, Friday, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But the other 9 days.
The other 9 days are tough because you got the coaches got to live with it. Then you got family people who have to live with it. And you got your friends, and then you as just yourself want to win. And it was a loss to Ole Miss. It wasn't just a loss. It was just to Ole Miss. It was a team that you should have beaten, that you have way more talent than. All of that builds into it, so it has a little extra sting to it.
This one did hit a little bit different. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if it's the way in which they lost the game. It's not like they lost on the last play of the game or anything like that. But LSU believes that they are a superior program to Ole Miss. They believe that they have superior resources. They believe they're superior. And the record over the long haul bears that out tenfold. But in the last few years,
since Kiffin's been there, they have a better conference record than LSU.
They do. But if you take this game, the way they beat you this game, I mean, if you take the names off the helmet, you never would have thought it was Ole Miss. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they didn't beat you with a trick play. They didn't beat you with an onside kick. None of that stuff. They just came out and they had 500 yards of offense against you.
They had 500 yards of offense, and they have been able to stop nobody's run game.
Yeah.
And they stopped this run game.
They held you to less than 60 yards rushing.
That's what bothered me.
That's right. That's different.
An hour and a half after the game, went to the post game, and a week and a half later, still bothers me.
And you go back and look at the film. I'm sure you guys have looked at it. They dared you to run the football.
They did.
They dropped 80 in coverage, and they said, please run the ball.
Nobody dares to that extreme. No, they dared.
They
dared
you to run the football.
There's daring, and then there's that.
An engraved invitation to run the football.
I think Jimmy and I could have run for 100.
I don't know about that.
I'm telling you.
Y'all got one good knee between the two of y'all. Okay,
we'd have left our way to 150 yards.
Last prediction. What do you think?
I like LSU because they're at home. I think it's a close game. I think the Tigers pull that one out at home. But I think we've got to find a running game. We're dead last running the football.
Oh, no. Second to last. South Carolina's worse.
Yeah.
But I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
I
So
knew
we
what
got
you
to figure
meant.
out how to run the football.
South Carolina's worst rushing because college stats, sellers of sacks go to rushing yardage.
Yeah, they're about 5 yards apart.
But I mean, he gets like minus 25 yards.
Yeah, essentially, they're the same.
We're dead last.
Yeah.
Yes.
When's the last time that happened? When's the last time LSU couldn't run the football?
Last year. Last year.
I know.
I'm tracking the offensive line.
They got a couple
coach,
other
okay?
high-profile teams that can't run the ball either. Texas.
Yeah.
Clemson.
Yeah.
And you can throw Penn State in there. If Drew Aller is your leading rusher with those two backs, that's a problem. They're talking about handing the ball off, running back running game.
You have a tough time winning in the SEC consistently if you can't.
Yeah,
run
well,
that football.
it's going to limit you what you can accomplish if you can't run it at all. Absolutely.
Greg, appreciate it, as always.
Thank you, Greg. Don't forget our friends at Workbox. Workbox Services in our second office of Workbox in the Gulf allows us to reach our service all the way down to the Gulf Coast, through New Orleans, Baton Rouge, to Lafayette, to Lake Charles, servicing all of these areas and everywhere in between, expanding our team. Of course, Martine Sr. is the head honcho behind this whole thing. Martine Jr. now, Hannah, Brandy, Chris Brooks, all doing a great job. Talk about our home box units for residential moving storage. So that's instead of getting a moving van, it allows you to load it up and unload it at your own pace. So don't want to burn you out, man. Moving is brutal enough. And then some of my friends that have some land and things like that, they got a unit there for storage at just strategically placed in a plot of land so they can, keep their equipment to upkeep, their stuff, but don't want to keep it all by the house. Workbox Services at WorkboxLLC.com, 343-4886.
Live at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, Jimmy, yesterday you gave us both favorites in the two playoff games. Both of them won. Today, two in the American League. Mariners-Tigers is an afternoon start. It's 3 o'clock on FS1. And then Jays and Yankees tonight. Jays trying to close it out at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, one of those favorites went off as a pick because the betting market came with the Phillies to bounce back in a zigzag, and it did not happen. So both two commanding leads in the National League. First one, 3 o'clock of first pitch at Detroit, Seattle at Detroit. I'm going with the favorite here, the road favorite, and with Logan Gilbert over Flaherty. Flaherty did pitch well in its decisive Game 3 at Cleveland. But Detroit back home, huh? Big advantage, right?
They hadn't been there in a month.
Oh, no, hadn't won in a month. Oh, they've been there in a month. They lost their last 6 to close out the season.
But it has been 2 weeks since they've slept in their own beds.
But it has been over a month. They have won a game at home. So Logan Gilbert should be fine. I like the matchup for Seattle there. Seattle had to do one or two things. You had to beat
Skubal,
Tarek Skubal, or win 3 in a row. And, man, that was a big win on Sunday night for them to even up that series. Seattle, these short series, man, there's no room for error. So you got that. And then I'll go both the Yankees to bounce back. So Carlos Rodon against Bieber here. I'll take Rodon minus the price at home for the Yankees to bounce back at home.
Thanks to our host today here at Mike Anderson's, where we are every other Tuesday. Appreciate that. Come by and get lunch here in the Oyster Bar, and a great place if you're coming in for the weekend on Friday afternoon. Tomorrow we will be at Modesto. From all of us here at Mike Anderson's and Jordan back in the studio, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you. Good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.